So today's talk title is The Big One. Remember the Red Fox show many years ago? It was a sitcom, and every time his wife brought up something he didn't want to talk about, it was he feigned this heart attack. Oh, it's the big one, it's the big one. Well, ministers have a big one. It's the talk we don't want to give. It's the abundance talk. Because when we talk abundance, you think we're talking about money. And you think we're asking you for money. In Victoria, we used to have several people would come to our center from desert another center and come to our center because she was always asking for money. What she was doing was teaching the principles. And the principles of money are really hard to get because we get this principle that what we give out comes back to us. We get that in all the time, in all sorts of things. We know that if we give a hug, we get a hug back. We know if we give friendship out, we get friendship back. We know if we give, if we get hard work, we serve people, people serve us back. But we don't get it that the way to get money is to give money. I mean, that makes absolutely no sense, does it? But it's true. It's true. Because money, we get latched onto money and we think money is something. And it's not. It's just pieces of paper that represent something. What they represent, we say, is the stockpile of gold that somebody's hidden in the mint somewhere, right? We all kind of doubt there's any gold left. But anyway, but even if that's so, the gold also is just representing something, isn't it? We can't do it. We can't eat gold. We can't dress in gold. We can't drive gold. We can't build a house. We could build our houses with gold. But generally speaking, gold isn't really useful either. It just represents what it is that money can buy. Everything's just representing something. So even our houses and our cars and our clothes that we think we're going to buy with all this stuff, they're not really what we want either. They're just symbols of what it is we really want is security, self-reliance, independence, safety, warmth. All those things we want. So where do those things come? They don't come from money or gold. They come from the one source and supply. There is one source. Everything, every physical thing that we see on this earth is created by the one. Right? By the one, what we call infinite mind. God thinks things into expression. And since we are made in the image and likeness of God, we have Godness in ourselves, we also create. So where our abundance comes from is our consciousness, our openness to it. Because everything we could ever possibly imagine is already right here. It's vibrating at a higher rate than we can see right now. And what slows down its vibration and makes it real is we see it, we intend it. So when we talk about the principle of tithing, it's not about trying to get your money out of you. It's about recognizing that where your abundance comes from is your consciousness of it, your awareness of it, your willingness to recognize it, and your willingness to focus there and create it. So when you tithe, when you give away money, the gift is for yourself because it raises your consciousness to think of yourself as a person who can afford to give. All very weird, isn't it? Anyway, that's not why I'm really here. Why I'm really here is because I know that this center consciousness is a reflection of my consciousness. So this center's financial status is a reflection of my financial status. And we're doing pretty good, by the way. And I always thought I had a really great prosperity consciousness. I tithe, joyfully tithe, and I support a couple of charities, and I have a house and a pretty small mortgage, and I can afford to go to New Orleans next week, and I'm doing pretty good. But what came up for me was a couple of weeks ago, right up against some stuff. As you know, our centers, the two streams of centers for spiritual living are integrating. And so there's a new set of policies and procedures coming up. We have been teaching classes here for a long time, accredited science and mind classes, and the fee has been $140. of that, when you complete the class, $10 is sent to head office to register your class and keep track. And they issue certificates of completion once you've completed the levels, and they make sure people who want to go into practitioners training are qualified and all that good stuff. In the United stream, they've been paying $25 for that service. They've had a larger, more efficient staff all along, I understand. In the proposed new policies, the fee for registering the class will be $45. I did what you did. Whoa! 450%? Woo! What is this? Big shock. So I got on the minister's listserv and I fired off an email and I expressed this. And I said, you know, our classes are 140. That means we have to take them to 175 to maintain the same level. To stop doing that. Because what happens right now is of the tuition, half goes to the teacher and half goes to the center. So in order to absorb that, oh well, we have to do something. So I fired off this email, and I got a couple of emails came back and said, yeah, I agree, we need to revisit this, and perhaps it's not law yet, we can talk about it at the conference. And then I started to get emails from some of the big guys, the dinosaurs, not the dinosaurs, the giants in the movement, the ministers that have been there for a long time and have, centers with 1,000 or 2,000 people coming. And it was kind of, we've been charging $185 to $225 for year classes for years. And people want the class, they'll find the money. And I was like, this is coming from a part of the United States that is supposed to be so deeply affected by this recession down there. People want the class, they'll find the money. I'm going to have to stop nodding my head. So that started to come, and then other people started to make suggestions like, what we do, this sounds good, is we charge the registration fee when people register for the class, and then make the class by donation. People pay what it's worth to them. And they usually pay at least $20 a class, which means they're paying $160 plus. All this stuff is out there. So I had to open my eyes and look at what is my prosperity consciousness. Why do I have this perception that we can't afford to do that? And just interesting stuff. And then I had to take a look at, does it partly come from the fact that I don't value the classes? Are these classes worth $140, $175, whatever it is? We're in the class on Saturday, and a new student needed to buy the Science of Mind text, $25. Deborah, who teaches at True, she said, do you know what the students up there pay for a text per class? About $150 usually. And then we started looking at what are the tuition fees that people pay. I'm going next week to a social networking one-day class, $90. Chamber of Commerce, promoting your small business, $75. Saying, wait a minute, is social networking worth more than life-changing? Do we value stuff of the spirit? And I said to myself, has this been valuable to me? Do I not value these classes?